this season and fancy their chances in this one. Now, we do have plenty of players who've worn both hues of blue who are on the park today, so let's see who's who as we check out the lineups. And Rado Vidicic has rung the changes. Melbourne City are the home side for this fixture. And we will have Dobson and Rabin dropping to the bench. Jenna McCormack is one who did switch sides, City's only goal scorer so far this season. Played 12 games in Navy in the last edition. She'll be in the back line with Tumeth and Johnson. Allen, Kane and Davidson in the middle of the park with Vlanic on the wing. And Japanese international Chinatsu Kira comes into the starting lineup along with Harriet Withers, 25-year-old Queenslander who gets her first start after impressing off the bench in the last 2 weeks. As for the visitors, Jeff Hopkins has made a necessary change after losing Natalie Tatham to a knee injury last week. That does mean that Amy Jackson will start in midfield alongside New Zealand international Annalie Longo, who gets a run-on spot today. Doran, Morrison, Bunge and Beard are the last line of defence, while Zimmerman and Cooney Cross join Lisa Devanna in attack with Melina Ayres up front. Lisa Devanna was a little bit frustrated that she couldn't bury her opportunities last week. Still hoping for her 40th W League goal. Might we see it today? It would be Melbourne Victory's first goal as we see the players make their way out. See our officials there today, and our official with the whistle is Lachlan Keevers. It's been a while since I've called a game that's had a male referee in the W League. However, with the lockdown, Rebecca Ducot was unable to get to Victoria. There were injuries to some of her colleagues, so Lachlan Keevers was asked to step up, and his assistants will be Danielle Anderson and Jasmine Steger, with the fourth official, Adam Bavkar. Players getting ready to go into their customary huddle. And wonderful to have our first Melbourne version of the derby, one that, of course, we can play even with the borders being closed at the moment and causing all sorts of havoc. Jenna McCormack, the only goal scorer for Melbourne City so far. And her first goal in City colours as well. Exciting to see their Japanese international Chinatsu Kira, who was impressive in her debut performance for City last week. She provided the ball that went directly onto the head of McCormack for City's only goal. First time Kira is playing outside of Japan after 10 years with the Urawa Red Diamonds. Fabulous to watch, great distribution, and as you'd expect, technically very impressive. Very different look City side this season. Meanwhile, across town, pretty settled side. Jeff Hopkins signed his side quite early. They've been together for a while, and he would have been thrilled to have Kyra Cooney Cross returning to where it all began. She had a spell with the Wanderers last season, and she's an exciting young player who started to really deliver on her promise. A playmaker that will undoubtedly be a handful for the City defence. And beside me in commentary today is Wanderers' Georgia Yeomandale. And Georgia, I can't believe we're looking at two teams still searching for a win.
Yeah, it is kind of shocking given the quality that we do have in both sides, but I'm sure being a derby, both teams are going to be looking to step up. It's always an exciting game and one that players look forward to.
We're certainly looking forward to it. We sort of seem to have games that have had abundance of goals and then some that have, many in fact. We've seen a lot of scoreless draws, and Melbourne Victory, one of those sides, still searching for their first goal. So a few opportunities last week against Brisbane, but to no avail so far. See New Zealand international Annalie Longo over the ball, and she does run off with it. Victory in the navy blue, running from left to right on your screen. Rado Vidicic was quite wordy in the last couple of weeks about how it was going to take his side a little while to settle, and I guess, Georgie, you'd expect that with such wholesale changes.
Yeah, been really big changes there to the City side this season, and it is understandable that it has taken a little while for them to settle in. Also, they were playing quite a different formation seems now that they've kind of settled into a more traditional formation, it'll be interesting to see if he carries that out through the game.
Looks like the lovely crowd that we have in the house today. Certainly very vocal at the moment, and this game did have to be moved. Apparently a problem with birds at the Frank Holohan ground has moved it to CB Smith Reserve. Apparently the magpies were particularly bad. Nice to be talking about a problem that's not COVID related.
And no one wants to be playing with magpies swooping across, so I'm sure the players are happy that the game got moved.
And chance for Melbourne Victory to mount her first attack of the game. Holly Doran, chased by Chinatsu Kira. Kayla Morrison, one of the internationals in Jeff Hopkins' side. Looks like he's got his full complement. Doran headed through, but beyond Davana, and it is cleared by Melbourne City defence. Neatly cleared there by Annalie Longo. Turning possession, Kyra Cooney-Cross. Back in navy blue, and miscue sees us with a turnover. Not for long, or will it be? Will it be regathered, and could that be the first goal of the match? Oh, and it just goes wide. What an opportunity for Melbourne City. Harriet Withers could see the keeper down, had slipped over and couldn't quite make her pay.
Yeah, and what an entrance to her starting debut, and a player who was really exciting in Melbourne City's opening games coming off the bench. Gets her opportunity there, unable to put it away, but exciting start there for Melbourne City.
Untimely slip. Let's see if they can create something more from the first corner of the match, delivered by Kira. Heads leaping high. It was Victory that gained control, albeit temporarily, as City get the throw.
You'd have to think that Melbourne Victory want to avoid giving away too many set pieces. Kira with a great delivery, and also with McCormick going forward, we know she's good in the air.
Somewhat of a height advantage as well. The height of Withers, you can see. And Davana. Chased down, it's Melina Ayres. It's been bowled over. A couple of changes to this Melbourne City lineup. Seeing Riley Dobson and Margot Rabin drop to the bench. Now Withers again. Still with Withers. Just to beat Johnson. Withers. Beg your pardon, Bunge. Get my Melbourne team straight. Claudia Bunge has been a great addition to the Victory side, a New Zealand international who's really come into her own in the last year, sort of stamped her authority on that Football Ferns backline.
Great experience to have here in the W League. We're seeing a season with fewer internationals than we're used to, but definitely, you know, a little bit of quality coming through there with Bunge.
Victory off at the canter again. Catherine Zimmerman. Oh, lovely turn from Annalie Longo. Had to stretch, and it has resulted in another turnover, but the thought was initially good. A little bit scrappy just now, as you expect in the start to these derby matches.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a little while to settle into them. As I mentioned at the start of the game, you know, it's a big game for players to step up to. There'll be a little bit of nerves going on. You know, you don't want to lose derbies. It means more than most of the games. So I'm sure both teams will settle into this game, and they're already looking dangerous.
Certainly are. Victory looking very attacking, and we just saw their coach Jeff Hopkins on our screen a couple of seconds ago. Hopkins is the first W League coach to reach 100 games of coaching in this league, so congratulations to him. He'll be hoping to celebrate that with a victory, undoubtedly. Hopkins had 4 seasons with Brisbane between 2008 and 2012. He took the Raw to 2 championships. Been in charge of Melbourne since 2016. Also, of course, had a stint as assistant coach of the men's side at the Raw, alongside the man on the other bench. Today, Rado Vidic was head coach at the time. 2 pitted against each other here. Victory, no trouble getting the ball down to that final third, but struggling to control as Devanna's turn to slip over. A chance here now for victory. The ball is put in, it's way over the top and a bit out of reach for Catherine Zimmerman. It's bundled over and the whistle goes. Free kick for Melbourne victory.
Just a clumsy tackle in there by Kane. Longo's great with her feet. You know that she can move the ball, so a lot of the time you've just got to hold up the defender. She's not going anywhere. As a defender, yeah, you just want to keep her, showing her towards the sideline.
Longo trots back to stand at the ready. Should be the captain to look far over towards the back post, headed down and easily dealt with by Jenna McCormack, but only as far as a corner. Decent support there. I do think it's the victory supporters, but they are saying come on Melbourne, so we'll need to actually have a look at them.
Probably need to distinguish which team they're going for there.
I'm sure we saw them last week, and now those victory supporters we can see over the fence, and it's Cooney Cross who delivers from just in front. A lovely ball in from Cooney Cross. It's palmed up, still alive. It's a bit of a scramble, and victory unfortunately cannot make them pay. Any Longo tried to get a foot on that, to no avail.
It's a great ball in there, but you've got to look at Melbourne City's defence. Great little scramble on the line. They're happy to get so many numbers behind the ball and just not letting victory get a clear-cut shot away.
Plenty of pressure being applied by the victory. Come off for them this time. Good vision from Chinatsu Kira. Tries to go 1-2 with Withers, doesn't quite come off. Miscommunication. Chinatsu Kira is going to really blossom in this league. Lovely to see another Japanese international join us. And avoids the shirts of City Blue and sends Devanna off on a run. Flag was up.
I think we're going to see a lot of that from victory, just looking to get Lisa Devanna in behind. We know how lightning quick she is. Disappointing to see her run offside there because she doesn't need to. We know she's got the pace. She can start a little bit deeper and still get in behind.
Good work from Kane, and it drops for Kira. So some space out on the right and easily dealt with by Gabby Garton. First 10 minutes done and dusted in this 11th Melbourne derby. Head-to-head's actually closer than one might think after Melbourne City's dominance of so many years. We'll come back to the pack this year. Now on again for Lisa Devanna. Still with Devanna, looking for a teammate. Pushes across the front of Tegan Micah's goal.
Great work there from Devana. She's looking dangerous in these opening minutes. Really looking to get on the ball, and I wonder if that was a shot or a cross, but she's definitely looking the dangerous player up there for Melbourne Victory.
She'll keep Tegan Allen on her toes today. Another error from City, sees it go to Longo. He finds Jackson initially, but now back with Holly Doran. Doran again, you can hear the shouts from the sideline. I suspect both coaches are hoping to see these players settle. All a little bit too anxious forcing the ball forward, where perhaps they have a little bit more time. Lovely work from Devana initially. It's retrieved. Jackson. There's Holly Palmer for Melbourne City. Kira again with that vision in the middle of the park. TJ Vlanic struggling to control. Good defence, Polly Doran. As I mentioned at the top of our program, it is a very warm day. It's up in the 30s. Not a breath of wind around. And we will be seeing regular drinks breaks. We'll be having them every 15 minutes, I'm told.
Yeah, with that heat, we're also seeing the grass is actually quite sticky out there, and I think that that's why a couple of the players have actually tripped on the ball, just with the ball sticking on the grass, and potentially the reason why a couple of passes are going astray.
It's one of the perils of the W League, though, isn't it, Georgia? The Adelaide game also very, very warm, and we do play in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's definitely tough in the W League playing in that weather. I think we've been fortunate in New South Wales in these opening few games that we've had cooler weather, but these games this weekend, the players have been asked a lot to turn up in this heat.
See what effect it has as the game wears on. Rado Vidicic was issuing some instructions a couple of minutes before that first break. Melbourne Victory dominating that possession stat thus far, and unable to capitalise on it. Victory struggling to find options, and City breaking down those openings really well. Turned it over now, and still with Melbourne City. Miscue means it's gathered up by the Victory. It's Melina Ayres that had dropped back to retrieve. Now Devana. Not a pocket picked. Not something she takes too kindly, and look at Lisa Devana off on a run. She saw the option of Catherine Zimmerman out to the right. It's the American to run quite some distance. Zimmerman beats her defender. Goes across and headed safely away by Sam Johnson on that occasion, but back with Amy Jackson. Possibly looking for Melina Ayres, but to no avail.
Yeah, that one with Sarah Kane, I think she thought she had more time than she did. And that's what you get when you're playing against Lisa Devana. She can come up on you pretty quickly, so Sarah Kane needs to look to move the ball a little bit quicker.
Kayla Morrison starting that play off, brought down. You can see the strength of this Melbourne Victory attack. Could be on here for the Victory, and there is their opening goal of the season. And what a way to start this match. Annalie Longo's been working really, really hard, and look at the Victory side celebrate. First goal of the season and first goal of this Melbourne derby.
Great finish there from Annalie Longo. Great little run in behind and just side foots it. She knows she doesn't have to hit it with pace and just curls it into that corner. Jenna McCormick stepping out in that defence line, which really opened up the middle of the park. Annalee Longo saw that and just slips in behind. Great finish.
And a reward for their work in the first stanza. Well, we'll call it a stanza here because we've really got thirds in each half as the players head off for a drinks break. Annalee Longo, it's great to see her back in navy blue. Second season with Melbourne Victory. Scored 2 goals last season with the Victory, and adding another one within the first 10 minutes today.
Yeah, great signing there from Victory. We've already seen how dangerous she is through the midfield, and you know, that little run and that finish just shows you know, the strike force that she is running from the midfield.
Yeah, certainly, because her attacking midfield role is something that she's been playing so well as well with the football ferns, and she can really break down defences. As you mentioned here, she's picked out neatly, but then it's a lovely ball in.
Yeah, great ball from Lisa Devana. That's quality. She weighted that pass perfectly. Put it exactly where she needed to.
Melbourne City on the hop as the first drinks break comes to a close. Melbourne City used to be the side that was so out of reach for a lot of teams, and Melbourne Victory certainly got their number in the first quarter hour here in Melbourne. Well, can City reply through the feet of Harriet Withers now, dispossessed. And Jackson trots up the park. And Kyra Cooney-Cross, plenty of attention in the lighter blue shirts.
It's definitely a changed Melbourne City side from the experience that they had last season with so many Matildas who have headed overseas. They've had to fill in the ranks with a lot of other players who probably need a bit of time to settle into the W League.
It's a conundrum we have in this league, Georgia, and you would know it at Western Sydney Wanderers. After being a couple of years out, it's all completely new faces, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, Victory got the bit between their teeth now. Devana tried to slide it through and look for the option. See that combination with Devana and Melina Ayres probably going to give Victory plenty of reward this season.
Yeah, I think Devana in these opening minutes has looked a lot more herself than she did in their opening game, and looking really dangerous as we expect from her.
I'm very happy to be back in Melbourne. Of course, Devana had a couple of seasons with Sydney, and had a chat to Jeff Hopkins about coming back. She's got family in Melbourne and a new nephew.
Yeah, I'm sure she's happy to be there, and she's one of those players is if she's happy off the field, then she's so dangerous on the field. A player that we've seen move around different clubs in the W League.
Had a couple.
I think I counted, there's only 2 that she hasn't played for.
There's still time. Possibly hoping her days in a green and gold shirt aren't quite over with that delay to the Tokyo Olympics, if and when they indeed do happen.
There's like a spider all over it too, it's cute.
Affects Mike picking up some nice chat off the bench. Hopefully that spider isn't on the bench. There slides through. Here's Longo again. New Zealand have been very busy, involved in everything in the opening part of this match, and good vision from Kyra Cooney-Cross. Asks Devana possibly to run a little bit too quickly, and you can hear the jeers from the crowd as Devana's caught offside again.
That's a massive challenge there from Sam Johnson on Annalee Longo. Definitely breaks down that attack.
Is she a little bit lucky?
Yeah, I think she's lucky she contacted the ball, because we've seen a few tackles from her where she hasn't got contact with the ball and given away a lot of free kicks. She's definitely a player who doesn't shy away from a big tackle.
He came out of retirement to rejoin Melbourne City this season. Certainly a very powerful defender in the tackle. City just struggling to retain any control right now. Jackson again. Slides it through for Cooney Cross. Deftly evades her defender. And Devanna puts a neat ball in. It's just beyond Catherine Zimmerman.
Yeah, City really struggling to maintain any possession in these opening minutes, and I think that that's mainly because Victory have been playing so well, definitely winning that midfield battle and asking a lot of questions of the City defence.
Not going to get any easier in a match like this. 30-degree heat. It's going to become ever more challenging.
Yeah, you don't want to be running too much defensively. Can take a lot out of you. So City need to look to get on the ball and maintain a little bit more possession.
McCormick tries to reset through the keeper, but it's come undone. Come over and no real danger from the Devanna delivery. I've seen a couple of occasions of keepers being caught off their line with looping kicks. Grace Mars comes to mind.
Yeah, it was a great strike from Grace Marr. Just her vision to be able to look up, see the keeper off her line.
Kira gathers for City. There's a couple of options inside. Spotted the run of Harriet Withers. Still with Harriet Withers, and the attack still on for Melbourne City. Kane tries to have a go. One flying well over the crossbar.
I'm really liking the introduction of Harriet Withers into this starting lineup for Melbourne City. Riley Dobson makes way, but I think Harriet Withers is a more natural stand-up number 9. You can see her coming to the ball, holding up the ball for the City side and allowing midfielders to connect with her, whereas Riley Dobson is probably more naturally a wide player and has struggled in their opening games playing in that number 9 position.
For those of you that may have just tuned in, Riley Dobson is starting on the bench this week. Should she come on, it will be her 100th W League appearance, so another centurion for today. But you're right, she's been so quick down the flanks that that's really where she needs to be most adequately utilised.
Yeah, I think often coaches look to play players in different positions, but I think you need to look to play to each other's strengths.
Look from Johnson initially, and now a cracking ball. It's gone over the top, bounced into the back netting.
What a great strike from Kane there. I'm seeing a lot in the W League of players, you know, confident to have a hit, and she's hit it first time, looks to catch the keeper off guard and just puts it over the crossbar. But really positive signs there from Kane.
Yeah, dropped really nicely for her. One of the NTC players that's got an elevation into the senior team. Holly Palmer this time. She does find Kane with the left foot. Goes just wide. So she's frustrated with herself there. Turned 21 last weekend. Enjoying her time in the top flight.
Yeah, I think she's been one of the better players so far for City. You know, really working hard in the midfield, getting forward, getting back, making some really big tackles, and you see the threat she can be going forward.
It's good work from Melbourne City to effect another turnover as McCormick trots further up the park. This time Johnson can't retain possession, but City do regather. Davidson Some neat work from Angie Beard on that occasion. Another one back from overseas. Kyra Cooney cross. Loops up over the top looking for Ayres. Angie Beard back from Iceland, where she had a spell with Reykjavik.
Yeah, a lot of players looking to head overseas and get experience, but good to see Angie Beard back in the W League this year. She's another dangerous player when she gets forward, and great left foot. So if she starts to whip some balls in, can be dangerous for Victory going forward.
Sure can. 4th season with the Victory. She had a few with Brisbane Roar before that. Melina Ayres getting paid some close attention by the City defenders. She effect one of her own, and Tyler J. Vlinich in lots of space, but ran out of it.
They probably needed to step to the ball, not let it bounce. Seems to be quite a big bounce on this field, which makes it really hard to control the ball if you do let it bounce.
Victory reset again through Tegan Micah, but Victory playing an awful lot of pressure up on Micah's deliveries.
Yeah, they're playing a really high press on City's defence, which I think is why they've seen so much joy going forward already in the first 30 minutes.
Okay, not sure if she was specifically looking for Withers, but had picked the space on the opposite edge of the pitch. GB had captain for the Victory, who of course lost Natasha Dowie over the close season, went over to Milan. Perhaps what they'll seriously be missing this season is a recognised goal scorer.
Yeah, Tash Dowie's almost irreplaceable, so it was a big loss for them. But we've seen a lot of star players leaving the W League, opening up a lot of space for young up-and-coming players.
And that's what it's about. We're seeing one right here in Harriet Withers. Didn't quite get away from Claudia Bunge, the New Zealand defender. On at the other end now, and McCormick comes in and can't quite snatch possession, leaves that to a teammate. Poor decision again from City, gives another opportunity for Lisa Devanna, slides it through, and that is the second goal for Melbourne Victory, and Melina Ayres can't believe her luck, dropped beautifully for her, right at her feet, popped it in. Melbourne Victory 2 to the good.
Again, another opportunity provided by Lisa Devanna. City's defence just really struggling with this attack here from Victory. Great little cutback ball, and Melina Ayres just knows to follow that one up.
Good poacher's goal, well done from Melina Ayres, side foot into the net, outside of a boot. Look how happy Ayres is about that one, her 9th goal in the W League. And she's on the other side of town after a couple of seasons in City Blue. Nothing feels quite as good as scoring against one of your old clubs, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's always a game that you step up for when you change clubs, and Melina Ayres has done that there.
Done it on the 29th minute. They seem to be creating a habit of scoring just before the drinks breaks. Hopkins comes over with instructions, but you have to think he'd be very happy with what he's seen so far.
Yeah, definitely. Victory far above City, looking the more dangerous of the two. If they can continue with this momentum, you'd have to think that there's plenty more goals in there, but Jeff Hopkins, the kind of coach who will always be looking for where they can improve. I'm sure it'll be talking a lot about their rest defence, making sure that they're not open on a counter-attack.
Well, take a look at how Victory have scored those 2 goals. Beautiful ball through there. Annalie Longo with a really clinical finish to start the scoring.
Yeah, it's a great finish there by Longo. I think you've got to take a look at Melbourne City's defence, though, on that one.
And this one palmed down originally by Tegan Micah. She couldn't hold on to it and presented it pretty much at the feet of Melina Ayres.
Yeah, I think Micah would be disappointed that she couldn't hold that one in the gloves. She's been so good for Melbourne City, but just lets that one go. And Melina Ayres, you know, following up as a striker and an attacking player, that's what you need to do. Whenever players are having strikes on goal, you need to almost assume that the goalkeeper's going to let it go, because, you know, often it occurs and you can pop up with a little tap in like that one.
Yeah, something we're taught from junior football up, aren't we?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
A pretty decent strike from Angie Beard, though, the initial one.
Yeah, she's done well to get some really good contact on it. Close range. Michael really, you know, struggled to hold on to that one. But as I mentioned earlier, Melbourne City's back line is really getting opened up there. It's almost a bit of confusion with playing 3 defenders. Tori Toomuth almost stepping into the midfield quite frequently, and it opens up a lot of space in between their centre-back pairing in McCormick and Johnson.
City under a bit of pressure now, half an hour gone already, chasing the game. Do you think they've, with all the changes in their roster, have they just lost their aura now?
Yeah, it is tough bringing a lot of new players in there, trying to get them to gel. I think, you know, we look at last season, Vidicic had so many star players to, you know, be able to pull together in a lineup, and now he's had to take, you know, quality players, but you need to make them gel in a short amount of time. You know, teams only having 6 weeks of pre-season, and you just have to say Melbourne City just haven't gelled quite yet.
You look at all those players they lost: Lydia Williams, Steph Catley, Ellie Carpenter, Lauren Barnes, Emily Van Egmond, Ivy Lewick, Yukari Kinga, Claire Emsley, Millie Mijatovic and Kaya Simon. Wow.
just a few names, isn't it?
Now we do have, W League fans, we have Alex Chidiac out of quarantine and sitting on the bench. Now I'm not sure if that's because she wasn't quite fresh enough to go after sitting around a hotel room for 2 weeks, but yeah, I don't think she can come back soon enough for Rado Vidicic.
Yeah, definitely. What a player to be able to bring back into the lineup. Great to see her back in the W League.
And not to mention the person that will be the regular captain, Emma Checker, who's still recovering from her injury. She'll be one of the last ones standing from that grand final side to come back. TJ Vlanic, I think, the only one in the park at the moment from a regular starting City lineup of seasons past. And Johnson's looked up and has picked out Withers, a little bit beyond her.
Yeah, 2 players there in Checker and Chidiac that, you know, City fans will be really excited to see come back into the lineup. But the City team need to make sure that with such a short season, you can't let too many games go away early, because it's really hard to recover from that.
Well, just no time, is there? I mean, once you've sort of settled in, I think Rado said he wanted 5 games before we'll see the real City. They'll need to go on a heck of a run.
Yeah, definitely.
After that point, especially when you've got sides such as Melbourne Victory looking much stronger, perhaps, than some of their counterparts. Brisbane Raw look exceptional this season. Sydney FC.
Western Sydney Wanderers.
I was getting there. Western Sydney Wanderers have had a really strong showing, and given the players that your side lost last season as well, they've adapted very, very well.
Yeah, look, we have a great side this season, and we've had a really good pre-season. A lot of quality players and you know, a great group of girls that we're really gelling, and I think that, you know, we still haven't seen the best of us. We've got so much more to give.
Just don't wait till the 5th round, right?
No, definitely not. We'll see it Saturday against Sydney FC.
100%. The second derby already as Victory go on another run with Kyra Cooney. Cross in charge. That time it is gathered by Tegan Micah. Another side I hadn't mentioned yet, bit of a smoky for mine, is Adelaide United. I'm interested to see what they can do throughout the season.
Yeah, look, I think that, you know, Adelaide United are always the quiet team that seems to pop up through the season, creating a lot of upsets. And I'm sure it's going to be one of those seasons, especially with COVID. Anything can happen. The draw's constantly changing. You don't know who you're playing week to week. So you can't discount any teams.
Certainly, and with the COVID break, as Devanna looks up, tries to spot teammate in navy blue. She's got a couple there. Zimmerman running forward. Defence from Melbourne City, but with the COVID break, Jeff Hopkins was actually very clever, and he got his side organised quite quickly in doing programs, even though I think under the player agreements they're not allowed to gather for training before 6 weeks, but they're all pretty well prepared with their own fitness programs and whatnot. And the ball goes up for Melbourne Victory. It is headed high and then away by McCormick. Now Doran. And skies over the bar.
Yeah, McCormick just unable to get much purchase on that header to clear it. Putting it right at the feet of Doran. Great first touch. Just unable to get the right contact on it. I think she was looking for the top left corner, but great positioning there from her.
City again dicing with danger, going back to the keeper with plenty of Victory defenders, or attackers rather, hanging around. Do you think the instructions are going to be from Rado Vidicic come the halftime break? Dangerous there from Micah.
Yeah, look, I think that they need to tidy up at the back. Too many loose balls. They're struggling with Victory's high press. But also the way that when you play with three at the back, you need to be making sure that your wide players are getting forward. That's why you start with that formation, to allow those players to go forward. You look back to last season and it allowed Steph Catley and Ellie Carpenter to get forward and add on to the attack. Two players that, you know, love to be involved, and they need that from their players this year.
Instructions there for Sam Johnson, just reminding her of the booking she's had.
She needs to be careful, because I think you can only have 4 yellow cards before you have to miss a match.
Sit out a match. With that pace on the flank, so they still do have TJ Vlanic, who's pretty quick down the wing.
Yeah, I think City have just been unable to find her going forward.
You know, to find much of anything, and now Handy Beard running on again, and not enough pace on that to really challenge Micah. Victory are just hungry.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Now Withers again. Flanks Bunge on that occasion, tries to tip it back for Kira. Well, it does drop, and on again for Melbourne City. They still can't deliver the killer blow. Gabby Garton a little bit lucky on that occasion, went to ground twice and wasn't beaten.
Yeah, but how great is Withers been already in this first half? Happy to drive at defenders and get to the byline, cut it back. That's what you like to see from attacking players. She's, you know, not looking to get the ball in too early.
Well, again here. Ooh, another chance for City, and they've had a couple of really dangerous shots across the front of Garton's goal.
Yeah, they have. Melbourne City almost playing a bit more of a transitional game, not getting too much possession in the midfield, but they're still dangerous once they get forward. If players get half a chance, I think that they're going to put them on frame, and it can be really dangerous for Victory.
Garton probably like that one back again. Lineish's throw finds Withers, who does find Kira on this occasion. I think that's a combination that we're going to see really come to fruition for Rado Vidicic's side.
Yeah, definitely. They haven't had a lot of time playing together, and yet we've seen a lot of quality play going forward. Victory need to be careful not to let Kira have too much time on the ball.
I haven't seen too much of her yet, but she's making her presence felt in this match, coming out of quarantine just before last weekend's game as goalscorer Annalie Longo goes off on a trot again. Cooney cross, Devanna. She's got teammates on this side, does opt for one in Melina Ayres. Looked a little bit tricky, but the whistle had gone.
Another storming attack there from Victory. Seeing a lot of frustration there from the City defenders. Just not too sure who's tracking runners in there. They need to tidy that up.
I hadn't spotted the run of Zimmerman. Fortunately for them, it was just out of reach of the American. Sam Johnson running well up the park and a bit wasteful with Kira and Vlanic waiting.
Yeah, definitely wasteful there. She had space still in front of her that she could drive into.
Vlanic again, and you can hear the call of time. There's just an urgency, isn't there? And
yeah, there is
a lot
just
of
rushing
errors.
the ball there.
Victory 2 ahead with half-time looming. If you have just joined us, we're at CB Smith Reserve for the 11th Melbourne Derby. We've seen Annalie Longo and, again, dangerous from City, really not clearing those lines quickly enough. Annalie Longo and Melina Ayres on target for the Victory at this point. Victory, the visitors for this one, which means Melbourne City, we're looking for another record. If they can snatch 3 points today, it'll be the most consecutive wins from a team of 10 in a row at home.
The way that the game's playing so far, I think they're going to have to make some serious changes if they're going to turn this one around. Victory almost would be disappointed that they've only put 2 away with the amount of chances that they've created.
Kira taking matters into her own hands. It's back to Davidson. And the Knights ball to release their attack finally in a little bit of space. Kane turns, evades Ayres. Withers forced to track back. Careless from both sides here, plenty of turnovers, and Vlanic says, I'll take possession of that one. Still on for TJ Vlanic. Muscled off the ball by Doran. Now Kira. It's around for herself to take a shot, but no real danger for Garden.
No, much better build-up play there from City. Again, Kira with so much time at the edge of the box, and she's going to be so dangerous there. I think she'd be disappointed with that one, not being able to find more of the goal frame. But she's probably looked the most dangerous player between her and Harriet Withers for the Melbourne City side.
Oh, time ticking away in this first half if City are to pull anything back before the break. Or perhaps, with passes like that, will Victory try and get a third in before the whistle. Fourth official tells us there'll be 3 minutes added on. The drinks breaks, we are seeing that time at the end, every 15 minutes stopping to take on some water. As ever, it's nice and cool in commentary, but over 30 degrees out in the middle of the pitch. Team struggling to control, does lose possession. Now on for Melina Ayres. And behind again. Georgia, they look like they want that third before the break.
Yeah, they do. They're not holding back. Melina Ayres with a good opportunity there. Again, created by Lisa Devana. She's had a great first half. Melina Ayres just needs to look to find corners there. A bit more composure in front of goal, but definitely looking dangerous.
Well, could there be a final opportunity for Melbourne victory? Plenty of heads up and leaping high in the box. And it'll be a reset and another corner from the same position. Get an update from one of the players on the way off the park, hoping to speak to the Melbourne City girls and find out their take on this first half. Now in for victory once again, this time headed away. Was that Tumeth? Brought down by Devana, neat back heel. Cooney Cross tries to put a cheeky one past Tegan Micah. Melbourne victory starting to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, they are, and that's when teams play their best football, is when they're, you know, relaxed in that final third, looking to combine. And Lisa Devana just knowing where Cooney Cross is, so much awareness.
Oh, at the feet of Chinatsu Kira, who's been one of the most dangerous players for Melbourne City thus far. Tried to find Sarah Kane behind her, didn't quite come off. Zimmerman back to Doran. Kayla Morrison been further up the park, too far as it turns out, and Tumeth trots back for Melbourne City. Seconds left, but possibly an opportunity for Melbourne City to see out this half with some sort of meaningful attack, or not, and that's just been the story, really, of their half. Miscued passes, communication breakdowns, and Lachlan Keevers says she'll now get to go and take a break. It's, given the heat, been relatively energetic. On a very, very warm day at CB Smith Reserve. A goal from Annalie Longo in the quarter-hour mark was followed by a lovely finish from Melina Ayres at the half-hour mark, and it sees Melbourne victory 2 goals up at the half-time break, leading Melbourne City at half-time 2-0. And grabbing the water as they walk in, they'll be relieved to have a few minutes off their feet. Probably with a lot of instructions on the City Blue side, I would imagine, and someone who's certainly been doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the defensive end. Sam Johnson. Sam, thanks for the chat. What do you feel just perhaps isn't going right for City this half?
Yeah, it definitely isn't going right. However, we're just trying to do exactly what we train. We're trying to put a lot of effort in. And obviously we knew like this year is going to be a big learning curve for the young ones, so we just have to remain positive, do what we trained, and just try and be really consistent and make aggressive mistakes, not just give away goals.
Hey Sam, really tough conditions out there today. How much do you think that that's playing a part in, you know, your first half and going forward into the second half?
Yeah, the conditions are what they are, right? We can't make excuses because obviously everyone on the field, our team and their team, is going through the heat and every adversity possible. So can't really make excuses, just trying to get the football side right.
Sure, Sam, before we let you go, just tell us, you're back out of retirement. How are you enjoying your football?
Oh, I'm really enjoying it. I'm always a player that has to go through adversity for some reason. So this kind of journey is not too foreign for me. I'm just trying to help